Hello everybody, welcome back to Leeton. My name's Jace and this channel's about our journey to become more self-sufficient in fruit and veg and eggs and probably some honey at some point. But something a little bit different today, and what we're going to do today is we're going to sort out the lawn ready for the summer, the spring and the summer. And this video is really about making your lawn grow as much as possible so that you can produce the maximum amount of grass clippings for the compost, because it is a fantastic material to put in your compost and it really does help. So we're going to go through how we look after our lawn, and we've only been here 18 months, so the lawn is not the best. We're not trying to produce a bowling green. What we're trying to do is produce a nice lawn that we can use, but also one that grows well so that we can have the maximum amount of grass cuttings. But first, we need to go shopping. All right guys, so we're at a place called Telford Farm Machinery, and it's a farm shop basically, but not just food. It sells everything from fencing, plumbing, electrics, seeds, compost, kitchen stuff, timber, building materials. It sells absolutely everything. Prices are good. Farmers don't like paying a lot of money, obviously, and it's not that far from where we live, 20 minutes, half an hour, and it's a fantastic place. We come here quite a lot because you can get most things under one roof and it's value for money. So I'll show you around.
Yeah, I made sure I got my bucket.
And over there in that building they do all repairs of strimmers, chainsaws, hedge cutters, etc. Fruit trees. So down this aisle you've got all the power tools. Like a kid in a sweet shop in here. Brilliant place. Mowers, cement mixers, everything. Actually, I want a new handle for my fork. That looks a bit short to me. Yeah, that's too short for me. Garden tools and that down there. Actually, I think that is alright. I'm going to get that. I need some spring onion seeds. White Lisbon, that's what I normally go for. Get those. But yeah, do everything, you know, even packs different springs. All your gate attachments, chains. We do clothes, got all your outdoor clothing, boots, there's all the seed potatoes. I've already got mine. And then in here we've got all gardening related things. How much is that vermiculite? Oh, that's expensive. £13.25 for 10 litres, and I think I bought 20 litres for about 15 quid on Amazon. And then round the back there they sell all your animal feeds, so chicken feeds, etc. Batteries for your vehicles. I love this place, it's fantastic. You get pretty much anything. There's some books, look. No Dig book. Who's that by? Is that one of Charles Dowding's? Oh no, it's not. Right, I need to crack on. So this is our lawn area, and it's a mixture of all kinds of grass. It's been here for donkey's years, and like I say, it is not a bowling green. And we also dug up that strip there, all the way around here, and this area here, because we put drains in for an ensuite, which is now up there. So all the bit that we dug up, we reseeded last year, some of which is okay and some of which isn't doing brilliant. And it's gone a little bit yellow and patchy because it grew so quickly at the back end of last year when we seeded it. And then later in the year it was really long, but it was also very wet, and I couldn't get out here to cut it because it was just too wet and too long. So in over the Christmas holiday I trimmed it, basically, just to try and get on top of it. And what's left is this. It's been cut twice this year so far. Now I know it's going to get cold in the next week or two, but the grass has started to grow and we do need to try and get on top of it. So we're going to scarify it. That's the first job. We've got a little electric scarifier, and what that should do is pull out all of the dead grass at the bottom and any moss. It'll pull out a few weeds as well. And that is the first step in preparing this lawn. I did aerate it at the back end of last year, so I'm not going to do that again. So we're going to get it scarified and then we're going to give it a feed. So a scarifier, all it does is it's got these wire tines that go round on a shaft really quickly, and it literally rips all the dead stuff, moss, some weeds, dead grass out of the lawn and leaves it on the top. Now this is actually my dad's, but and that's why I'm doing it now. He's on holiday, and when he gets back he wants to do his lawn, so I'm using it now. It does have a collector that goes on it, but in all honesty it fills up in no time and you're forever emptying it. So I tend to scarify the lawn and then rake it up into piles and move it after. So we'll get it plugged in and show you what it does. So if you don't have access to a scarifier, you can achieve a good result with a grass rake just a normal garden grass rake. It just takes a lot more time and a lot more effort, obviously. But get that dead stuff and the moss out of your lawn, and then that gives the grass a chance to grow, which means you're going to get more grass clippings. Quite hard work that. So as you can see, it's pulled all the dead stuff, moss, dead grass, weeds out the lawn. Julie and Alfie are raking it up, and what you end up with is all this sort of stuff. And when we first moved in here, it was really quite bad. We had miles and miles of moss, loads of it, and that's what a lot of that compost is in that pile. Probably only a quarter of what we had before here today. It was scarified twice last year, beginning of the season and the end of the season. So we've got to get all this raked up now and then onto the compost, and then I'm going to actually cut the grass. And there's two reasons for that. One, it needs a little bit of a trim, but the other thing is the lawnmower acts as a hoover and actually sucks up all this loose stuff that you miss with the rake. So there we have it in the compost pile. There must have been 8 wheelbarrow loads of grass clippings and moss and what have you, and that's all in there now. So now what we can do, if you watched the last video, we can put some of the old browns out the old compost heap on top of that. So we'll have browns, greens, browns, and already we're starting to fill this up. It's amazing the amount of stuff you can get out your lawn if you scarify it. So if you wanted to aerate your lawn, now's the time to do it. You've scarified it, you've mowed it, and what you want to do is aerate it. And you can do that with an attachment for the scarifier. You can do it with a spiky wheel that you can get in garden centres and things, or you can just do it with a garden fork and just go all over the garden, all over the lawn with a fork, making holes. Don't dig it, just make holes, wiggle the fork back and forth so that air can get down to the roots. And also when you feed it, that feed will go down the holes and into the soil. Now I did that at the end of last season, and I'm not going to do it again today, but it's a very straightforward process, and I'm sure there's lots of videos on YouTube about it. The lawn itself now doesn't look too bad. Sometimes when you scarify them, like this bit in the middle where we put some new seed last year, is a bit bare, but that'll recover. That isn't an issue, and I'll probably chuck a bit more seed down there as well. It's the right time of year to be doing it, even though it's going to be cold in the next couple of weeks. Just let that cold period pass and chuck some seed down and it'll soon grow. So what we're going to do now is give it a feed. So let's get on with that. So when it comes to lawn feed, there are hundreds and hundreds of them on the market. Now I treat this lawn differently at different times of the year. At this time of the year it really does need a feed so that it's got the nutrients and what have you to grow in the spring and really put on a lot of new growth. And especially now that we've scarified it and there's patches of bare earth, we want that to be filled in with grass, not moss or weeds. But at this time of the year I'm going to use an organic lawn feed, and we picked this up at a garden centre today. There's just about enough here to treat the whole lawn, and it costs £7.50, and it's totally organic. Now I'll use an organic feed at this time of the year because we don't have a lot of greens available to go into the compost, and this is all about making compost. It's about making a nice lawn, but it's about making compost. If you were to use some of the non-organic lawn feeds, they will still make the grass grow, obviously, but you won't be able to put the grass cuttings into the compost pile for 6 weeks or more. And at this time of the year that doesn't work for us because we need green material. So I will use an organic feed at this time of the year, and then in the autumn when I scarify and feed again, I'll use a non-organic lawn feed, like a Miracle Grow 4-in-1 or something like that, because I can go 6 weeks at that time of year without putting the cuttings in the compost, because we'll have so much other green material around from the vegetables and flowers and all sorts of stuff, cutting hedges and everything, to go in the compost pile, so we can afford not to use the grass cuttings for 6 weeks. But at this time of the year we really need these grass cuttings in the compost pile. Okay, so when you've got your feed, you could just walk around the garden spreading it around with your hands like you're feeding chickens. And on here it says 40 grams per square metre, which is about a handful. Or you could use a spreader. Again, this is my dad's that I borrowed. And if you're going to use a spreader, make sure that you know what setting to put it on, because you have different grades, different settings, which change the hole size in the spreader, which allows so much out. It doesn't tell me on here what setting to use, so what I'm going to do is have a look at the size of the granules. and they're actually quite big. So I'm going to have to put the spreader on a reasonable setting for that size granule. Okay guys, so that wraps it up for another one. That's how we look after our lawn to maximise its growth, keep it looking decent and get the most grass cuttings out of it really for the compost. So that is where the compost was, the pile that we had, and it's all gone now. We've sorted it all out and we've made this other bed. This is going to be a flower bed for Julie to grow her shrubs and plants in. And we'll patch the lawn up after with some seed, etc. After this cold snap, probably not a lot of point in putting it down in the next week or two. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed, please do. Helps the channel, and you'll be able to follow us on our journey to become a bit more self-sufficient in fruit, veg, eggs and maybe some honey. Thanks guys, catch you on the next one.